Oh, so you have witnessed some others go over the Daedric Princes. Well, let your old pal Sheogorath, the Daedric Prince of Madness, go over each one of them again. Maybe you will learn something new. However, none of them have enough cheese. Yes, very original content. Not! You are going to say, but Lord Sheogorath, we have been through this before, and well, I could technically say you hallucinated our conversation, and it did not happen. You could be, how should I put it, mad, I tells ya! But today I am feeling generous, and I will explain. No, you are not going mad, but here is what happened. The Grey March finally arrived, and the old Sheogorath turned into Giggachadlag. Two mortals named Connor Runda and Zake mantled me at the same time, and now I sound like a combination of them trying to do impressions of me. Enhanced by the powers of cheese, they are now me. This is going to be a tier list instead, to make it all the more interesting and save you from staring at too many boring pictures. We begin with none other than that blabbermouth Azura. I think she gets on my nerves, ha ha ha. Everyone is always praising her, with her fancy magic and her prophecies. But she's still just as bad as every other god. She's just too full of herself. Oh, they all are. But she's the worst. Oh, she is so annoying. She thinks she's better than everyone else. What with her stupid move and her stupid prophecies. I just can't handle all of that talk about how great she is. It's all so pretentious. I can't stand people like that. I still have a lot of respect for her, though. She has the power to see into the deepest abysses of the mind, to peer into the darkness, and not go blind. I admire that! They also made a hotel in her name in Turkey. Ha! They should make one in my name as well. Overall, she belongs in the C tier. Why are you looking at me like that, mortal? I am not Dagoth-er. I have some respect for my fellow princes. Now, Boethia is my kind of prince. Very straightforward. Boethia isn't interested in all this pretense about how cool and powerful they are. Just tells you to get on with it and doesn't sugarcoat anything. Boethia is a real, what do you call it? OG. Now that is my kind of god. Boethia knows how to kill and how to cause chaos. Just the right kind of chaos for all of this death-obsessed nonsense. I admire that. I admire anyone who's not too squeamish about killing things. I mean, don't we all want to kill at least one person if we're really honest with themselves? There's a lot of annoying people out there. Also, let's not forget what Boethia did to Trinimac, or Malacath, as he's known today. That was a stinker! She belongs in the B tier, all things considered. Oh, how about Mephala? No, that one is fun! That god is so sneaky, so manipulative, so... I just can't help but admire all of it. There is so much mystery, so much death, that the divine is truly remarkable. Mephala is like a big spider in the middle of its web, watching all the little bugs crawl around and do what it wants them to do. No, that is a real god. The Molag Bal is a fun little organization that worships her. Once again, it is very fun to watch mortals killing other mortals. However, she does not let me mess with her at all. A tier, I like watching her scheme. Oh, Clavicus Vile! I try to stay away from him. I have met him many times, and all he does is try to tell me about deals. He's such a schemer. He is the prince of wish fulfillment, but the cost is always far too high, and he has a weird dog. However, that weird dog, in the grand scheme of things, is a good pup. Clavicus Vile keeps losing Umbra, which in turn keeps possessing different characters, turning them into unstoppable Terminators. We also must not forget that he was responsible for a flying city that was powered by souls. Ha 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 ha! That whole affair did not get almost any coverage in Skyrim. I will give this wee lad of a Daedric Prince the F tier. No one messes with Barbas. I like to play around with Haskell, but I will never get rid of him. Oh, please, Hermaeus Mora is a total drag. He's all about the knowledge and all that. Doesn't even have a sense of humor. Plus, he takes up a whole city's worth of space. It's just too much. He's the Daedric Prince of Knowledge, but most of the stuff he says is boring, like a lecture. You know, he's just a big nerd. He knows all of the secrets of the universe, and he just won't stop talking about them. He's like one of those kids in school who are too bright for their own good. He never stops jabbering. No one in the realm really likes him. The other Daedra make fun of him for always being so severe. Poor guy. I don't feel too bad for him or anything, but still. However, if we are ranking everyone by power, he does belong in the S tier as much as I do not like him personally. Hircine is a tricky guy. He's the Daedric Prince of the Hunt. All of his stuff is a little bit dangerous. He's the kind of guy where it seems like he might be your friend, but he might also try and kill you. Plus, many of his worshippers are very intense about hunting. Sometimes they get a little carried away. It's very much a kill or be killed kind of place. Very aggressive, but I do think that maybe some people secretly like that about him. The Blood Moon. Ha 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 ha. Oh, that was a hoot. Everyone went utterly insane, like full-on biting and killing. A complete rampage. It was like the ultimate game of predator and prey. Very violent, very brutal. The people who survived had a very different perspective on the whole thing after they came down. Most of them hated it, but a few of them actually enjoyed themselves. As much as I enjoy his animalistic games, I cannot give the Daedric Prince of a national park anything above D tier. Malacath, he's a grouch. Just like his little realm, he's the Daedric Prince of outcasts. All of his worshippers are a bunch of misfits who are too dangerous, or too weird, or too disgusting, or whatever to fit into regular society. So they live in this ugly gray place surrounded by mud and swamp. He doesn't just make people outcasts, he makes them like him, all dark and bitter. Oh, well, I didn't want to talk about this, but there is a rumor that he is, the product of, whatever happened when Boethia and Trinimac battled. Malacath is all the gross stuff that got, left behind. It's very disturbing, and we really try not to think about it. You know, I don't really like to talk about the time I tricked Malacath, but yes, in his anger and confusion, he struck down his own son. A pretty big embarrassment, if you ask me. You could almost say it was mad. F tier for this outcast. Mehrunes Dagon, he's a hothead. My goodness, he's the Daedric Prince of Destruction, which I think speaks for itself. He's constantly causing chaos, and the only thing that makes him happy is destroying things. He's the god of destruction and fire, and I think if he got his way, even the most simple things in life would be destroyed. He's a force of nature, almost a very angry, very destructive force of nature. Well, he was at the center of this whole big event called the Oblivion Crisis, where he tried to invade the mortal realm from his realm. He almost won, very close to succeeding. So that's pretty interesting. But we mostly just try to stay on his good side, because I'd really rather not be on the bad side of a god who wants to destroy the entire world. Oh, wouldn't you? I may have played one side against the other during the Oblivion Crisis. then it kind of spiraled out of control. I mean, we're talking about gods here. You're working with a lot of power. And when you try to pull the strings with those kinds of guys, sometimes you accidentally pull too hard. I would have given him the B tier, but he got defeated by some student at Battle Spire. So C tier! Meridia is a very intense god. She's the Daedric Prince of Light and Life, which on the surface sounds very good, but really she's the kind of god who doesn't like, death and undeath and the undead. In her eyes, that's wrong. So she can be a bit judgmental. Like, really judgmental. She has this burning hatred for everything that doesn't fit in with her worldview. She's definitely the kind of god who you want on your side in a fight, but you really don't want her mad at you. She's super picky, only wants to give her powers to certain people. People she's chosen. And then she's really particular about what you can do with her powers. It's so annoying! And to hear, a new hand touches the beacon. Oh, brother. Like nails on a chalkboard. No thank you. F. Tier. Just for the beacon. Oh, Molag Bal is a real downer. He's the Daedric Prince of Domination and Torture. Now, I might be a mad god who loves to see some chaos, but I don't like Molag Bal all that much. His whole realm is just full of miserable vampires, and even his worshippers are just awful, always doing the most horrible stuff to each other. It's just so, I don't know, sad. There's no joy in that realm, no happiness. What's the point of making a whole realm like that? Oh, it's always fantastic to see that guy get smacked down. Always puts a smile on my fuzzy little face. It's just great to see people standing up to him and not letting his evil corrupt them. There's no glory in surrender. There's no happiness in bending the knee to someone like Molag Bal. So watching him get crushed, it's just perfect. C tier, because he got defeated by some vestige. Namira's a pretty icky goddess. She's the Daedric Prince of Darkness and Decay. She's definitely the god of gross stuff and gross things. Her realm is full of decay and just the worst things ever. She's all about gross stuff and gross people. Some of her worshippers even eat human flesh. I don't really know who else would want to worship a god like that. I mean, I like my flesh where it is. Thank you very much. She's very disgusting. Definitely gives me the creeps. Her followers are so disgusting it almost becomes almost impressive. I've seen some things when I've had to deal with those guys, and at first, you're kind of horrified. But then you're like, I didn't know something could be so gross. It does almost become fascinating. Like, wow, how are you not dead? I will give her the F tier as she is just rotten, nocturnal. Wow, she's tricky. She's the Daedric Prince of Shadows. And like shadows, she is deceptive and very sneaky. She really gets around. A lot of her worshippers are thieves, assassins, and other types of scoundrels. She's also the Daedric Prince of Nighttime and Darkness. So she's got a lot of power over all things secret. She also rules over luck, which seems a little bit random, but she loves mystery. Oh, but she's so tricky. She's a hard one to know. You can never really trust her. Mortal, I watched this new Akaviri series, and Nocturnal, well, she has impressive artifacts, and they are really bonkers. A real set of badonkers. I mean, look at them. The skeleton key. Now, that is a thing of legends. It can open any door. And I mean any door. It's one of the most powerful objects in existence. That thing is a real key to power. Whoever has that can open anything and go anywhere. It's a fantastic object. If you can hold on to it, that is, I'd imagine a lot of people would be trying to steal it from you. And the Grey Cowl, that is, an impressive artifact. Powerful. I would like to have that in my possession myself. What did you think I was talking about? Anyhow, she goes into the S tier. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my speeches. Mortal! Oh, Peryite is odd. He is the god of pestilence and disease. His realm of Oblivion is infested with rats and pests. I respect him and his power, for while he causes disease, he also teaches the people of Tamriel how to combat disease, how to survive. He is a difficult Daedra to understand, but he is a necessary part of life. He's a complex little guy, and he certainly takes his job seriously. He is not one of the more friendly Daedric princes, but he is worth studying and understanding. I understand the importance of his power. He is the god of pestilence, but I think that he is much more than that. He is the god of cleansing and renewal. He is the god of balance and equilibrium, and I can understand that. My only concern is that he takes his role very seriously. Too seriously. He may be too strict, too rigid, too unfeeling. I think it's okay to have fun, even for Daedra. Down to the F tier he goes. Oh, Sanguine's a good fellow. He likes his wine and his parties. He likes to have a good time. But he isn't nearly as chaotic as I am. It's more a planned sort of party. But he makes damn fine wine, that's for sure. He is the Daedric Prince of debauchery, you see. He is all the passion and lust that mortals feel when they are at their most hedonistic. He is love and romance, and lust and pleasure. Many find his realm to be their own little slice of heaven. It is always a merry little place, with wine flowing endlessly, and revelers forever singing songs and dancing until they're out of breath. Those who live in Sanguine's realm are always in bliss. The main difference is the nature of what we represent. Sanguine's realm is always joyous and merry, while mine is always in peril and danger. I represent madness, and he represents pleasure. Our realms also have a different structure. His is like a beautiful party place, full of wine and revelers, where mine is like an insane asylum, filled with twisted people. His realm makes you want to sing and dance and drink, and mine makes you want to throw up and eat bugs and run around yelling cheese for everyone. Ha 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 ha! I will give him the B tier. He is fun, but not too powerful. Vaermina is an old friend of mine. She represents the fear of the unknown and the forbidden, and is therefore a very dangerous Daedric prince. Her realm is a nightmare world where fear and torment rule supreme. If you do visit her, you will find that your mind is filled with many scary, twisted, and frightening thoughts, which will haunt you long after you leave that realm. She is the worst of the Daedra, and it is best to avoid her, or at least avoid her realm, at all costs. I may or may not have crossed her. Ha 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 ha! That's the way things work in the realm of the Daedra. It's all a big game to us, and we always try to one-up each other to get ahead. If I drive some of her followers mad, well, that's just part of the game. Ha ha! A tier, as she can be quite overpowered. Giggachadlag is the Daedric Prince of Order, and we are like two sides of the same coin. He is logic and reason. I am madness and creativity. He is rigid and unmoving. I am always changing, always flowing like a river. He is strict and orderly. I'm unpredictable and chaotic. We are two opposite forces, but we are both the same. In the end, he is me, and I am him. Oh, you see, we are always two separate beings. It is like I have two sides to myself. I am always Sheogorath, and I am always Giggachadlag. But every so often, our roles will switch, and Giggachadlag will become the ruler of the Shivering Isles, and I will not exist. He will take my place. But eventually, order becomes too logical, and he will go mad like me. And the cycle begins again. S-tier, due to him being so powerful that the other Daedric Princes had to turn him into me. I am Sheogorath, the Daedric Prince of Madness. The hero of Kvatch was simply a mortal who happened to be in the right or wrong place at the right or wrong time and was turned into the new Giggachadlag. As for me, well, I have always been there. I am Sheogorath. I have always and will always be the Daedric Prince of Madness. Ha ha ha! What happened after the hero of Kvatch defeated Giggachadlag is that I have taken over the role of the Prince of Madness. I still have my powers too, so I can manipulate the world around me and do whatever I want, really. And Giggachadlag, he's gone. He is his own being, even though at some point I was him and he was me. You see, Sheogorath is more of a symptom than a being. Well, I suppose you could say it that way. You see, I am simply the embodiment of pure insanity. I am what mortals feel when they are most crazy. I am what they go through when their lives are in disarray. I represent those moments and more. So, I suppose you could say I am simply a form of madness, a force of chaos, an embodiment of insanity, and I get to rule the Shivering Isles where there's plenty of cheese to eat and mad people to talk to. So a win all around for me in the end. Look, call me crazy, but I would not rank myself in S tier or A tier. I am in B tier. Don't forget to raise your thumbs, rip the parchment below.
Thank you to those funding the Sixth House operations. Your support is greatly appreciated, and more exciting sermons are in the works, especially the current Charmut Tonya Davis and the adoring fans Connor Runda and Peanut 8421.